All right, welcome to Team Forever Strong's weekly call. Today is August 31st, the last day of the month. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Cannot believe how fast this month flew by. Oh my gosh. I know we have a lot of teachers that are already back, getting into the full swing of things. Kids are back. Holy mackerel, the transition. So let me take a second here. Does anybody have anybody on their team that they'd like to recognize or give shout outs to for anything? It doesn't need to be rank advancements. It could be any kind of positive thing that's happening that you'd like to draw attention to. If you do, you can unmute yourself and you can share it with the team.
I have Lacey Corey is a new Emerald.
Oh, that's awesome, Lacey. Congratulations. That is so exciting. That's fantastic. Keep it going. Just the beginning. You got this. Anybody else? No. All right. So I wanted to go over a couple of things here for next month. I hired a new assistant. So the cover photo and all that jazz with the dates will be going up soon, but I already have it all out right now. So I wanted to kind of let you know what was going on this month so that way you guys knew in advance. We have our Coach Basics starting on Monday. And the post went up today, I think, or yesterday, for people to complete the application. So this is for new coaches to go through, or if you just need a refresher, like some people never really fully go through it. They're plugged in, but they never really do it. You're probably already in it, or you can request to be added and I can add you into so that way you can go through it and really just use it as a refresher. Sometimes to this day, guys, I even still do that. And there's always something that kind of pops out to me like, oh my gosh, that's so basic and I totally forgot. So you just never know. So we have that starting on Monday. We also have a top 10 coach that's going to be a guest speaker, if you want to write this down, on September 28th. So that is definitely a call you will want to make sure that you are on and that your teams are on. I'm really, really excited about this one. This is a top 10 coach who's never spoken on our call before. So we're going to learn a lot of really good things. New things, awesome things. We're going to be super inspired and motivated. We also will be having our Coach Basics calls. For the Coach Basics will be for the next 3 Tuesdays, because it's only 3 weeks. So it'll be this Tuesday as the first one. Try to keep it short from 8:30 till 9 for those 3. And then we will also be having, I'm going to be running another free group next month as well. And the free group is going to be it's going to be September 25th. It's going to be a 5-day free group again. And I'm going to kind of base it off of the information and feedback that I get back from the 5-day free Mindset Booster group that I'm running right now, which I've been getting so many messages from people in there about the group. So I'm going to have actually everybody do a survey tomorrow who is in it, just kind of letting me know what they liked, what they wish they could have heard more of, how I could improve it and make it better, what they'd like to learn from me in the future. So it could be something like just like a strictly, self-love group. It could be a confidence group specifically on that. So it's going to kind of be like based on what they say. Okay. Last day of the month. Okay, got all that. Okay, guys. So we are going to, since we're on this topic, and I'm doing the group, the free group, and all that stuff. If you're not in it, I'm going to be leaving it open for the next week. And then I'll be closing it out. So if you still want to be added into the Mindset group, just let me know and I can add you in there. But I wanted to do a call like on Mindset just because Mindset is everything. With any situation that you have going on in your life, I mean, your mindset is everything. And what you're thinking just totally controls the way you're going to respond, your mood that you're in, how the rest of your day goes. I'm just specifically thinking, like just off the top of my head, like what happened this morning and how this morning was just horrendous. Nick was gone all week long in Miami working, so it was just me with the kids. And it's like just insanity in the morning time. Landon is still adjusting to being in school full time. And, the alarm goes off at 5:45. We have to hurry around the house, get everything ready. And I even get the clothes and everything ready the night before. I make the lunch, I iron the clothes. I mean, I make it as simple as possible because I hate getting up early in the morning anyways, and I really hate rushing around and being late. So it's like, that can't happen. It's just, I get such anxiety when I know I'm going to be late. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like driving in the car. I'm like, I'm going to be late. Like, I'm totally like that when I know I have to be someplace at a certain time. Oh my God. So we're walking around the house, and as soon as we get up, it starts as soon as we get up. Now, mind you, I had gone to bed at 12:30 last night. I was actually in bed early. I was in bed at 10:30, which is early for me. And I said, I'm going to get a good night's sleep. But then I decided, no, I don't want to do that. I want to lay in bed, and I want to watch these YouTube videos on how to become a really great, influential public speaker, because that's like my long-term vision and all that. And I want to write a book and all that stuff and do a seminar. So I'm like, I'm just going to do that. And then the kids woke up 4 times last night in between 12:30 and 5:45. So, and this has been like routinely happening. So we get up, and I'm like walking outside, whatever, out of the bedroom, and immediately the dog needs to go out. So I'm like, I got to take this dog out right away because she's going to poop and pee all through the house if it does not happen now. In the meantime, as I'm getting the leash ready, Landon's like, Mom, I need to go to the bathroom. No, come with me first. I'm like, Landon, you don't need me to go to the bathroom, honey. Like, you don't need me to go to the bathroom. I think, no, do me first. He's freaking out. It's still dark outside. I bring the dog outside. I slam the door behind me in the pool area. I'm out there walking the dog. I hear the door inside go flying open, hits the wall for the inside where the pool is, and Landon's like, Mommy, screaming. Now the whole neighborhood, I mean, I'm sure can hear. I mean, it's dead silence in the neighborhood, and you hear him screaming, bloody murder. I need me first. Then I come back inside. He's just in a bad mood. He starts throwing stuff. He's knocking stuff down. He won't eat his breakfast. Now his cereal's getting soggy. Like, all these things, it's just like this massive ripple effect. And I was just so overwhelmed and stressed out. And I'm just like I'm thinking, all right, I'm teaching this mindset group. And I'm literally could hear myself raising my voice. It's getting progressively louder. Till finally I was like, I just ignored them. Anyways, I hustled up the kids. I threw them in the car, and I dropped them off to school. And I came back home, and I was all frazzled. I was like in a big tizzy. I was so stressed. I felt anxious. I could just feel my shoulders up like this the whole way to school, dropping them off in, getting back in. I'm thinking about how I have to go live in this mindset group, and I'm just really pissed about the way that this kid is behaving so early in the morning. And I'm like trying to explain to him, it's just Mommy, honey. We need to all work together and help each other because this is a lot of work for just Mommy. Da, 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 da. And it's just, he doesn't get it. So I come home, and I'm like, okay, I can either just like sit here and be like, this is ridiculous. So I had to force myself to just go outside and sit out there for like 20 minutes and I literally just had my eyes closed. I sat there for like 20 minutes, and I was just like, it's going to be okay. It's just a transition phase. Being a mom is like the hardest thing in the world you can do. And it's going to be short-lived. It's one of the most rewarding things you can do, but it's going to be short-lived. And so I was able to turn it around, and I put on some really good podcasts, and I put on some jammed up music, and I did a little bit of cleaning too, and then I felt better, and I let it go. It's so hard to practice patience when your kid is losing their shit like that. So anyways, my whole point is that mindset is everything, because it could have made the entire rest of my day just be horrible. And then I could have started looking for all these other little things. Like, see, I knew the day was going to be bad. I woke up 4 times last night. Landon started the morning crying. The dog peed through the whole floor. I was late to dropping Kirsten off at school. Oh my gosh. But I had to tweak it, and I had to make a conscious choice, even though it definitely probably would have been easier and would have temporarily just felt a little bit better to just let it go. But I had to change it, and it's not always easy to do that. So I wanted to talk to you guys about that tonight, and like mastering your mindset. And I wanted you guys to really think bigger here in terms of your purpose here on earth, in terms of the business, in terms of just everything, because everybody who was here on this earth was given a gift. And we were put here to use that gift and to share that gift and to live with purpose and to change lives every day. We're not meant to just coast through and just make it, you know, till the end, you know? So I want you guys to think about that. And I want you guys to think about like your dream and your vision and how we're here to touch lives and to save lives. And I want you guys to just put yourself on the back burner, because this isn't about you. Like your whole purpose for being here in general and even in the business, you know, it's not about you at all. It's not about you at all. It's way bigger than you. It's about the other people. It's about making a difference and changing a life one person at a time. And Beachbody, guys, when I think about like thinking bigger, Beachbody and being a coach is not going to be the be all end all for you. Even if you make it big in this thing, this isn't the end of the road for you. This is a stepping stone. This is the opportunity at the door where the door is open, and it's going to lead you to other things in life that are going to allow you to live out your purpose and to share that gift that you were given with other people. For example, I want to go on, and I don't know why I want to do this. First of all, because I was the child who never raised her hand in class. I sat with my head down all the time. Anytime anybody would ask for volunteers, I'd put my head down, my face would turn beet red. I hated having to give my college presentations when I was there. I hated speaking. I hated talking. I hated even just the mere fact of raising my hand and asking a question. Just the idea of talking in front of other people. What are they going to think about me, and being made fun of and wondering way too much about what other people thought. So to go from that to now, for some reason, I just love helping, lifting people up. I love inspiring people. I love motivating people. And down the road, that is what I would really like to do. Like I see myself on a stage speaking somewhere to a large crowd, not getting any awards and medals. I don't care about any of that. I just see myself up there sharing my story, like my real story, and helping people really see their true potential and make that true transition in their life. And I see myself writing a book down the road about this and about mindset and about you are what you think and things like that, because that is my long-term vision. So it's not just Beachbody coaching, you know? So I want you guys to really think so much bigger and think that this is the thing that can open up to those other opportunities that you probably wouldn't have even taken the chance to do otherwise if it weren't for this. I truly believe that if I never got into coaching, I would have never contemplating being a public speaker and wanting to do this. I know I wouldn't have done that. There is no way I would have ever done that or even thought to do that. Because like I said, I couldn't even raise my hand in class. I could not raise my hand. I went numb. I froze. It was just awful. Okay, so I want you to think bigger than that. The problem is that we have all these thoughts in our mind all the time. A lot of times people are scared of success is what it is. They're scared of success, or they're scared of failure because they have a fear of either one of those things. They have a fear of failure or they have a fear of success. It's one of those things that holds people back in their life. But my question is, when are you going to start saying, all right, I can do this. I can live out my purpose. When are you going to start saying yes to that gift that was given to you and then really living it full out, going all out, ride or die, baby, straight to the very end? Why are you making your success an option? What is it going to take for that light in your mind and that little switch to flip where you can realize that and see that your success is not an option? And that's the thing, is that a lot of people make it an option. They make it an option with whether or not they really want to make this or not. But things take time. You know, the skies are never going to just open up, like I said in my live video today in my mindset group, and say, hallelujah, you have now been changed. You are no longer insecure and think those negative thoughts. You are totally 100% good to go. Straight to the top, baby, in one day. It never works like that. It's always going to be these small little fine needlepoint moves and small, minor movements of progress that are going to happen day to day with each thought that comes into your mind. That's going to then trigger the way that you react to it and the actions that you take. And then that is what compounds. And then before you know it, you will look up in 10 years from now and be like, oh my gosh, I am so different now than I was 10 years ago. It's like a complete transformation. So things take time. And you can't plant the seeds and reap the harvest in the same season. You have to be willing to plant, and wait and go the distance. And believe that you can figure things out and that you can do this. Because it's not going to be easy all the time. And believe that you're going to be okay when things get hard, when you start to have self-doubt, when things start to change, when what you were doing before isn't working anymore, and now you need to try to find something else so that it does start working again, and you have to come out of your comfort zone. My parents always said to me growing up, when you start something, you don't quit, you finish it. They always said that. That was one of the things they always said to me. And I can think of a bunch of different times where I wanted to quit, and that is what they said to me. For example, I love basketball. I was an athlete for the longest time. I started playing basketball when I was in 3rd grade. I was awesome at it. I would go out in my driveway and I would just practice those shots every day, multiple times, swish, swish. I was an awesome outside shooter. That was my strength. I loved it. And I played all from when I was in grade 3 all the way straight up until high school, until I had a really horrible coach, and he was just made you get worried if you didn't play that well during the game. We all have bad games. We all do things that, sometimes that happens. If you missed a shot, he'd be there on the sideline, like stomping his feet, getting so mad, and I would be so crippled dribbling the ball up, or when somebody passed it to me to do my outside shot, because I knew if I missed it, he'd lose his shit at the end of the line. He actually had to be removed from multiple games for getting so aggressive, and not physically aggressive, just with his language and his body language, and just, oh my gosh, he was one of those coaches, you never will forget him. He wasn't a good one. And the more that you worry about it, oh my gosh, I hope that, I don't know why this is ringing right now. Hold on a second, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know why it does this. Okay. And the more that you think this, oh my gosh, shit, I hope I get this in. He's watching, he's going to scream. What's he going to say to me when he pulls me out, when he calls a timeout? I'd be like, time, I'd be freaking out. I would brick it. And what did he do when that happened? He would bench me. I'd be benched. And so he started just playing these 2 girls over and over again because they were awesome. They were really awesome. They were better than me, but I was still great, and I could do an awesome job. But I was letting how he was handling it on the sidelines totally cripple me and screw me up. And we were almost done with that year. It was my junior year, and I remember we had 5 or 6 practices left, and I went home and I told my parents, I quit. I am not doing this anymore. There is no way I'm doing this. He is a lunatic. I don't even like it. This is not fun. He's yelling, he's screaming. He doesn't even play me anymore. Obviously, he doesn't even think I'm any good. And my parents said to me, you're finishing this season. If you don't want to go back and you don't want to do it your senior year, then that's fine. But you started this year with your team. This is a team sport, and you don't quit. You finish it out. So you will finish those last 6 practices and those last 2 games or 3 games that you have. And I was like, okay, you can't argue with mom and dad, right? So I finished it. Same thing happened when I'm thinking about the teacher test. Up here in Massachusetts, you have to take 4 different tests to get your certification. I suck at tests. And I know that passing that test does not determine how great of a teacher you are. Geez, I knew a lot of teachers that were passed on the first try, and you see them in the classroom and they are horrible with children. But I struggled so hard with that. And I remember I literally had to take the test a total of 10 times. And again, it came to that place where I said, maybe this really isn't for me. I mean, I deep down really want to do this, but I can't pass these tests. Like, what is wrong with me? And again, my parents said, you went to school to become a teacher. This is what you want to do. You will pass the test. And so it's all these little different things that I'm thinking of, you know, in my mind. I mean, I have a list. I mean, I jotted down over here. Like, I don't know, it's like the whole page is like 25 things here where I started to question myself about things like that, where I contemplated quitting. And I always had my parents in the background, you finish what you start. And I remember reading and listening to Brendan Burchard a long time ago, who said, the only way that you're really a quitter is if you quit something and stop something when it gets hard, or when you get discouraged and disappointed because you are not where you thought you should be. You're not a quitter if you get into something and you realize that it's just truthfully not for me. When things are going good and you realize this is really just not for me, you're not a quitter then. But you'll see most times people will quit things. Even if you look at my situations, I didn't contemplate quitting basketball and quitting the basketball team when I was doing awesome and the coach was playing me with no breaks and I was in the newspaper, highest point scorer. I didn't say then, you know what, Mom and Dad, I want to quit. Forget it. When did I say that I wanted to quit? As soon as I started feeling discouraged and defeated and feeling like I can't do this. He doesn't think I'm any good. They're better than me. I'm not meant to do this. Forget it. And that's what happens to most people, is that they choose to try to quit and throw in the towel when they're discouraged and the times get hard. So that's how my mindset was for a long, long time, to be honest. I'll tell you a situation of how I kind of turned it around when I was running the Boston Marathon back in 2009. I actually got my jacket on now. This is actually what made me think of this story, because your mindset matters so much. And successful people practice good thinking. They are constantly practicing good thinking. And I remember when I showed up, Nick and I, back in 2009, we showed up super early. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning in Hopkinton, which is in Massachusetts. That's where the Boston Marathon was going to start. And I remember I showed up, I had my like wick stuff on so that I didn't get any chafing on like my arms, in between my thighs, you know, because they always touch. It was always so annoying to me. Gonna get chafed down there. I had on my special socks so that my feet didn't sweat. I had my newer sneakers on that I had trained for the past 2 weeks in, so they were all broken in, nice and comfy. I had my cute little, tiny little, mini little iPod. You remember those things? They're so tiny, like the size of this. I had it strapped to my arm with this really cute teal band, strapped it right around, my little white cords and my little things, and I had my playlist going. And we're doing our stretches before, and touching my toes, and I'm like reaching up high, and I'm, you know, jumping up and down, getting myself pumped up, and I'm thinking about when we took the drive through the route before we actually ran it. And I'm thinking about how there's these different markers that I'm going to be looking for to get myself psyched up, like you're getting closer. You can do this. One of them was be aware of Heartbreak Hill. And you're going to be going up this incline. But once you get through that, it's good. So I had that in the back of my mind. So don't go too fast, Kathy. At the beginning, you were never a long distance runner. You were a sprinter through all of high school and college. The fastest and the furthest you ever went was 100 or 200 meters. That's it. So let's not kill ourselves. So pay attention and pace yourself for that. Okay. Now I'm going to wait And when I get to Wellesley College, and there's going to be all the cheering on the sidelines from the whole college, they hang out the windows. It's like this big rush. And then as you get closer and closer to the end, you're going to see this really big sick bell sign hanging up in the air. And when you see that sign, you know you have like 3 miles left. It was something really small like that. I think it was like 3 miles. So the gun goes off, and you're packed in like sardines. You can barely move. It's like, it's like you're like, this is going to be good. I can do this. I can do this pace. And then everybody starts to kind of space out. Everybody starts to space out. And I'm just doing my pace, and I'm doing my thing, feeling good. And in my mind, I'm like, you got this. Because shit, you're going to be way better off than any of these other people, because you were training in Uxbridge, Massachusetts, in a super hilly area. And this is all flat except for that one hill. Like, this is going to be a piece of cake for you. You've got this made. I had my belt around my waist, packed with my Gatorades. I had these really yummy strawberry gusher kind of power, what are they called? Power bar fillers, like chewy things to give you energy. I also had my Starburst because I was a little nuts, and Skittles, anything to give you some extra sugar. And I'm running, and I'm just feeling myself not too good. And I'm seeing the spots. You know what I'm saying? When you work out so hard, the black spots. It's like, I'm like, holy God. And there's all these people on the sidelines handing out oranges, orange slices, orange wedges. And I'm grabbing them like, I clearly just need to eat. The Starbursts ain't gonna cut it, honey. And I grabbed the orange, and I'm like biting into it and getting the juice taste of it. And just, I can see it again. Boom, boom, these things. I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to get a little bit dizzy. Now I look down, and the last time I checked the marker, I just passed like mile 7. And I'm like, why do I feel so bad? Obviously, I don't know. I'm not gonna be able to finish. I remember thinking, you're not gonna be able to do this. Like, there's just no way in hell that you're gonna be able to finish this entire marathon of 26.2 miles. You are on mile 7. You're blacking out. And I remember what it's like to black out, because it happened all the time when I did track and field. When I would push myself so hard, I literally had to lay on the track, on the red track, and just close my eyes and look up at the sky. And all of a sudden I looked down, and I remember saying to Nick, oh God, Nick, I don't feel good. I just don't. And he's like, oh God, Kathy, you're always complaining when you go running. Like, why do you even sign up for this? I don't know, but I don't feel good. And I looked down at my arm, and literally everything was black and blue. My arm was black and blue. My hand was black and blue. And I'm like, oh my God, everything is swollen up black and blue. So I ran right over. They had a medical tent. Thank God they had them all the way for people like me who were amateurs and had no idea what the hell they were even doing. And I went over, and sure enough, it was because my iPod thing was too tight around my arm. So they gave me some Gatorade. They told me to take it off, and they said, give yourself a couple minutes, go to the bathroom over there, and you'll be fine. You can go ahead and do it. Just run with your arm up like this for as long as you need to get the circulation going again. So now I'm at like mile 9. And so I start to run a little bit. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Now Nick is just like rolling his eyes, because he's already run a marathon before. And he knows how difficult it is and how it really is a mind F with you. It really is. And so I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom next. So I go into the porta potty, and I just remember, like, I lined the thing with all this toilet paper, and I was like, we're not squatting for this one. We are sitting my ass down on that seat. So I lined it, tons of toilet paper, and I sat down. And I remember just like having my head in my hands like this. And I'm shaking my head, and I'm like, damn it, fuck. I'm not gonna be able to finish this goddamn race, am I? Everybody in the school knows I'm doing this. I was a teacher at the time. I was teaching first grade. Everybody was cheering me on. They had made banners for me. The school knew. They were posting on my Facebook back then, and not that I was on there much, but they were still posting on there, good luck, everything like that. And I'm just sitting there thinking, this is gonna be so embarrassing when I tell them that I couldn't finish. And I stand up after literally Nick knocks on the door. Kathy, what are you doing in there? Like, old people are passing us. Like, come on. And I just stood up, and they had like one of these really small like mirrors. Like, You know what I mean? Those plastic shitty mirrors that are like scratched as all hell. They're like gray. You can't even see yourself in them if you want to. And I just really just got up close to the thing. And I looked at it and it was like, you are so fucked right now. But you just need to go. And I opened the stall. It was so disgusting. I hate those things. And I walked out and I started to just run slowly. And I'm starting, and my arm's up still. My arm is up. My arm is up for at least 3 miles. Well, I'm putting it down every now and then, running like this. And I started to get a little bit of energy. And then right around, again, mile like 14, 15, 16, right as I was approaching Heartbreak Hill, Nick had to get behind me and put his hands on me to push me so I could actually move my legs up. And at that point, I was like, you're not going to be able to do this. Like really. And then I start trying to convince myself, you're going to hurt yourself doing this. You might as well just stop. I kept going. And I was just really suffering. And you know, the more you say these horrible things to yourself, just the worse it is. It's kind of like when you know you need to go to the bathroom when you're driving in a car and you're fine for like an hour and a half. You know you need to go to the bathroom, but you don't acknowledge the pain on your bladder of the bathroom. You totally ignore it because you know in your bathroom. But then as soon as you know you're like 10 minutes away, you're like, I can't hold it. Oh, you start to freak out. It was just like that. I was focusing on it so much. So I just remember thinking about what my parents said, like, you start something, you finish it. And I started saying to myself, like, you can do it. And all of a sudden, after saying that over and over, I literally said, okay, I can do this. I'm going to do this. You trained for this. You can do this. You're convincing yourself that you're weak right now. You can do this. You're going to do this. You're going to pass the finish line. It's okay. I saw 80-year-olds with dragging oxygen tanks, with the tubes on wheels, passing. It's okay. Don't look at the people on the sidelines. I'm still going. The person got, meanwhile, I wanted to be like, could you hand the tank over to me? Holy God. But that actually helped me get through it more because I'm thinking, if this 80-year-old whatever guy who is limping, dragging this tank, you can do it. So finally, I'm like, I can do it. And then I remember looking up and I saw the huge sicko sign. And I remember being like, I felt like I wanted to cry because I was like, oh my God, holy shit, thank you, God. Oh my God, this is it. There's only like 3 miles left. You can totally do this. You're gonna do it. Oh my God. And I remember, like, I got this burst of energy and I'm like, you're really gonna do it. Like, you're gonna finish the friggin' marathon, 26.2 miles. You almost had to stop back at mile 7 and 9 and 14. And here you are at 26 miles. And my sister's on the other side, the last straightaway. I turn the corner and I see the big finish line at the end. And my sister and my parents, and I had friends who came and teachers who came, and they're right there. They're screaming for me. I sprint straight away. I blew Nick away. I'm sprinting. I'm like, yeah, you got that. I wasn't feeling any pain. And I crossed the finish line. And then, of course, I collapsed. I couldn't freaking move my legs after that. But my whole point is that it was the shift in my mindset. When I was starting out at the race, no matter how much training and practice that I went through, no matter how many 14-mile runs I went on the hilly roads in Uxbridge, and I was like, I am set for this race. It's going to be awesome. I am totally golden. Still, when I started to struggle and started to feel discouraged and felt like quitting, because that's what happens in your life in general with whatever you're doing, marriages, relationships with friends, your jobs, this business, your health and fitness, it was making it worse because I was focusing on how hard it was then and how much pain my legs were in and how tired I was and how I was blacking out. And then as soon as I shifted it and started to say, you're going to do this. You can do this. The 80-year-old guy is doing it. You trained for this. You got this. People are waiting for you at the finish line. You can't not cross the line. You have to do this. And I, again, kept thinking, your parents taught you. You were brought up. You start something, you finish it. You don't ever want to run another marathon after this again. You don't have to. But you're going to finish this one, damn it. And as soon as I started thinking more positive, it became easier. I wasn't focusing on the pain. It didn't hurt as much. And I sprinted. It was like a 300, I mean, it was a long way to sprint at the end of a marathon, but I did it. And it was all because of that mindset shift. So I want you guys to do the same thing as you're going through your day-to-day life. I want you to start to think about those things. And right now I'm going to give you guys some tips for success that you guys can have with your mindsets. Number one, you are your rescue. No one else is going to take away your struggle. No one else is going to make you feel like long-term motivation and inspiration. You might hear some things like tonight on this call, and it might give you a jump start, but it's short-lived. Kind of like when you go to Summit, everyone's on fire, it's so inspiring, it's so motivating, and then 2 months later, you're back to struggle bus. You have to be the one inside that's constantly challenging yourself and paying close attention to those thoughts so that you feel better, so that you're more positive, so that it becomes easier. Because when you start to think more like that in a positive way, it is easier. Your marriage will be easier. You won't be arguing as much. Your kids and your relationship with them and the way you start your mornings won't be as hard because you're challenging that and practicing patience. And you're going more with the flow versus trying to fight it. It'll affect all areas. And number two, believe in the unseen. Believe in the things that haven't even happened yet. The third one is to be constantly using affirmations about yourself. That is the best way to get over it. I remember when I was living in Uxbridge, I even had stuff written all over my mirrors. I had sticky notes. I had just paper, like printing paper, with stuff written on it for me because I always was someone who struggled with self-esteem, believe it or not, and with confidence and with doing the right thing. And what are people going to think about this? Let's just follow the beaten path. Don't do anything different. You don't really want to stand out. You want to be liked. You want to be accepted. You don't want to do anything different. So I constantly would have things on there like, you are a great coach. Like, you are a great mom. You are making a difference every day. You are a great leader of an incredible team. Different things like that. You are good enough. You can do hard things. You are not a quitter. I constantly had that stuff and I was reading it all the time. Write that stuff down. I can do this. I will do this. And like I said, just know that it doesn't happen overnight with your thinking. This has been for me over 3 years in the making, and I am not perfect. It's still an ongoing battle, some of these things, because I lived a lifetime like that with these thoughts in my mind. The other me creeping in every time I hit a hurdle or anything. Whether it was friendships or not, in any area, that's just how I was. Be willing, this is my fourth tip, be willing to do something different when what you're doing isn't working. Small progresses. Focus on the small progress over time. The small changes 30 days at a time. Have that big, clear vision of where you really want to see your life and have it there and visualize it and imagine what it's going to feel like when you actually achieve it, but also focus more on your 30-day small achievements and progress, because before you know it, if you keep doing that, like I said, 3 to 5 to 10 years is going to go by, whatever, and you're going to be a different person living a different life that you never even thought was possible. The next one that I wanted to talk about was to stop asking for permission. Now, this one was a good one for me because, like I said, I never could even make a decision before, guys. I was the person who I would ask, well, what do you think I should do? What do you think I should do? I don't even know. Because I was just so afraid of making the wrong choice and having people view me as like flawed or somebody who is just different. It was the lack of self-esteem and the lack of confidence that I had within myself with this story that I kept telling myself. So you have to be consciously refusing to listen to those negative voices in your head when they creep up. Like, you have to make a conscious awareness to refuse to listen to them. When you feel like you feel like quitting this, refuse to listen to it. No, I'm not going to quit this. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to tweak my behaviors. I'm going to tweak my actions. I don't like where I am right now. I don't like the way my marriage is going. We're going to work on that. We're going to go see a therapist. I'm going to work on me. He's going to work on him. We're going to work on each other. Same thing with your kids. Same thing with your job. Same thing with this business. Same thing for any area of your life. Don't be afraid to do that. Stop asking yourself in your mind, can I do this? I don't really know if I can do this. Am I going to be able to do this? Am I going to be okay when I do this? All those different kinds of things. You have one life, baby. You got to get on this thing and you got to ride it straight through to the end until the freaking wheels fall off. And it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm thinking back, I wanted to say this earlier. I really liked that piece that I learned from Brendan Burchard about when he talked about how you're only a quitter if you quit when times get discouraging or you are feeling down on yourself. Like I said, when I was doing basketball and I was in the papers every week and I was shooting points galore, high score, oh my gosh, getting all this recognition, I didn't think about quitting then. But as soon as I was benched, I was. So think about what you're doing right now and how you're touching so many different lives and make it work. Find a way to make it work. Don't stick with something for a long period of time. And then because you're falling short, decide maybe I should do something else. Because you guys are entrepreneurs at heart, especially in this business. And that ain't easy. So if you can't find a way to make it work, you're probably going to have the same kind of challenges that you're going to be faced no matter what other kind of business that you're going to do. Because there's going to be hard times when you run a business. It's not going to be sunshine and rainbows and happy and on cloud 9 when you first get started. They will come, but it's just like when you're in a new relationship with somebody, right? Think about when you first met the person you married. It's like, oh my God, the butterflies, it's all exciting. Then after a while, it just becomes normal. It's the same exact thing with this business. Things become normal. Then all of a sudden you start to have struggles, just like in relationships with friends and spouses. And you have to be willing to work through those. You're not going to quit. Who the hell does that? You're going to figure it out. Unless you get into this, and when the times are good, and you're doing awesome, and you're on cloud 9, then you decide this isn't for you, then you can leave. All right, the next thing is disrupting your soil. Being okay with kind of getting in there when things aren't working for you, like I said earlier. Because your biggest breakthrough is going to be when you tweak what you're doing to make it better. When you actually have to unlearn something to learn it again so that you have success. That's really where your biggest breakthrough is. Because, when you keep doing these certain things, after a while, what you started doing years ago or last year for this business isn't going to work anymore. Things I did for this business when I first became a coach doesn't work anymore. I had to be willing to, even though I was comfortable in certain areas, to dig a little bit deeper, get a little bit more creative, and figure it out so that you can keep having success. So you got to disrupt that old soil that you're in right now. Disrupt that old soil so that you can kind of rip it all up and plant a new seed so a new fruit can grow right there in its place, even bigger and even prettier. Get practicing on sharing your story. Sharing your story so that you can really touch people's souls and captivate an audience and really get people's to feel the emotions and to see your story. You always hear, show people, don't tell them. There's a big difference between telling a story and showing your story. For example, here's an example of just telling your story. Say I said, 3 years ago, I was in such a horrible situation. I was in all this debt. I didn't know what I was going to do. I thought there was no way out. And then luckily this opportunity fell in my lap and I took it and ran with it and I never looked back. Versus I remember standing on the hardwood floor in my foyer with my 4-month-old, swaddle all up with the white fleece sleep sack, bouncing her to You Are My Sunshine, with my dog running around my feet, and my toddler playing with his garbage truck, running all around. When my husband came in that day and told me, you're probably going to have to go back to work. You can't stay home with the kids anymore. The lump that formed in my throat, the pit in my stomach. I felt like I was going to throw up. I could feel my temperature rising. I felt so hot. I felt like I was going to cry. I did cry, showing them. People see in pictures. So when you're writing, you want to write so that they can see the pictures in their mind as they're reading your story and as you're sharing your story. So as you're telling your story, you have to think, what were you thinking? What were you feeling? And what were you seeing? Those are the things you have to think about. What were you thinking, feeling, and seeing as you're sharing your story? Because you gotta be able to get people to see the pictures. People get attached to the pictures, and people are very visual. And you want to get your audience and the people who are watching you right now on this journey to feel emotion. So you got to paint that picture for people. And this is where it can be a little bit challenging, because with this requires a lot of vulnerability. So you don't have to come all out and like pour out all your deepest, darkest, like, oh my gosh, like, whoa. You can do slowly things, like little snippets, and really elaborate so that you can show people. The next tip is find true abundance in your life. And now when I say abundance, I am not talking about money, 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 become wealthy so you can buy all this crap. That's a bunch of baloney. It is true. None of that. Money and having money, it'll help solve some stress in your life. It'll help you be able to do things that you can afford. It'll help you be able to live a life that you didn't think that you could live, and be able to do things that you couldn't do before. But it doesn't make you any happier. Money will not make you any happier. It's not the possession things. It's not new cars. It's not new houses. It's not jewelry and makeup and all this crap. All these little things that you can buy, materialistic things. At the end of the day, none of that matters, guys. You can't take that shit with you when you go and you leave this earth. What I mean by true abundance is you need to be measuring it by your health and how you feel, by your family, by the quality of the relationships that you have with the people in your life, by the happiness you have, by the ability to, can you forgive and move on and let go of things instead of holding on to resentment and anger and bitterness. I used to do that. I used to relive these things over and over again and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about them over and over and over. I just can't believe she said that to me, though. I just can't believe she did that to me. Why would anybody do that? How would a true friend do that to somebody? I would never do that to somebody. And talk and talk and weeks and months and years and all this resentment and all this bitterness and all this anger boiled up to the point where I'd hold it in, because I would never say anything to people, because remember, like I said, I would never want anybody to be upset with me. I would never want anybody to get angry with me, because I'm a massive people pleaser. So I wouldn't say anything, but I'd hold it in to the point where I couldn't hold it anymore and snap and lose it on a good friend, wherever. I mean, it was mostly towards good friends. I mean, I am who I am with my husband, but it was mostly to good friends, because I was just had that fear of like being accepted, being liked. Not a good way to live. Not a good way to be. The next thing is, and the last part of it, is really dreaming big. Allowing yourself to dream big. And this sounds so cliche and it sounds so ridiculous. Dream big, live, but honestly, when you really think about it, I mean, we live in this world where it's very realistic to just let these limited beliefs hold you back. We live in a world where limited beliefs is accepted and is okay. And actually, most people will encourage it and will encourage you to stay the same and to just do that. Just do that. Keep doing that. Why would you ever leave? That's the type of world that we live in. when I was younger, I never thought or dreamt about living a bigger life. I was like, okay. My brother went to college, I basically just did what everybody else did in my family and what I was taught to do. I went to the same college because my older brother went there. So I was like, I'll go there too. My brother went on to become a teacher. I'm like, I might as well become a teacher too. I mean, I love kids. I babysit. I love kids. Might as well become a teacher. It's going to be an awesome job when I have kids down the road because you don't have to stay there till 5 or 6 at night. I'll have school vacations so I can spend some time with my kids. I'll get out early and I'll have the summers off. And I'm going to get paid. Sign me up. So I went on to become a teacher. And I did these things. I just kind of followed suit. I never really truly did what I was meant to do, and I just didn't think so. This is what everybody encouraged me to do. This is what he did. This is what mom and dad said would be good for me, a good fit for me. And I mean, I'm only 19. What do I know? I'm just gonna do it. I mean, I don't know what I want with my life. I'm still a kid. And then I did it. I never dreamt about what was possible really for me. And I always was just like, I'll just marry somebody who's like really smart and has an awesome job. And I'll stay at home with kids when I have kids. No big deal. I always put it on other people. I never put it on myself as being the one who could change it and go on to make myself live this life that was going to be incredible. But we're trained to be realistic, logical, and practical. Your mindset matters. And successful people practice good thinking all the time. Literally all the time. And that's what we need to do, guys. We need to do it, and I'm constantly doing it all the time. Constantly kind of tweaking the things that come into my mind, paying attention to the negative things. Maybe you can't do this. Maybe you're not good. No, yes, I am. You can do this. You've done it before. You're going to do it again. So you plateaued. Who cares? Figure it out. Keep going. Don't quit. When you start something, you finish it. Something within you, though, has to change. Something within you totally has to change. You're going to listen to your internal GPS. And in order to really live that life that you love and to love that life that you live, you kind of have to be willing to step on the other side of normal for a little bit. And I want you to think of something here for a second. A while ago, I have this like notebook of different things that I like acquired over the past 3 years from personal development and different things that I read or heard from videos. And I remember, excuse me, I'm so dehydrated. Reading this thing from an author, Michael Gerbert. And he said, I want you to imagine that you walk into a room. And when you walk into this room, all your friends and all your close family and everybody that you love and care about is all in this room sitting down. And you look in and you see all these people and you see a box. And you walk into the room and you walk in between all the people and you go up to the box to see what's in it. And you look in and you're in the box. It's you. At the end of your life, you're not here anymore. What kinds of things do you want the people to be saying about the life that you lived, about the kind of person who you were, and the kinds of things that you went on to achieve in your life? That's how big and how deep this is. You see, it's not just Beachbody coaching. It's not just making this work. It's about making it big in your life and using this as the opportunity to learn and grow. Yes, you're going to build a successful business. This is not the end of the road for any of you, just as it's not for me. I'm going to be going on to public speaking on stage and teaching a seminar. I'll show up. There'll probably be one person. It'll probably be my mom. I want to go on to write a book. This is the platform for you guys. That's all it is. So you have to give it everything you got and think that big and that deep and that long term, because it's one life. So you got to ask yourself right now, well, first and foremost, and I think a lot of people don't even ask this question, is what are the things that you want to achieve in your life or in this business and why is it important to you? Really go deep with it. Stripping away the fear of failure, stripping away the fear of success, stripping away all that stuff. What is it, and why does it matter to you? Why is it important to you? And now ask yourself, who is the type of person that you have to become so that you can achieve that, so that that can happen? What would someone who is really successful do when they're faced with obstacles? What would someone who's really successful do when they're starting to doubt themselves or question themselves or question their ability? What would they do? Who do you have to become to get yourself to that place in your life? And then slowly start to program your mind now to make it happen. And like I said, remember, it's going to be small needlepoint moves every day, every week, every month, every year that are going to compound. It's going to be the small, minute pieces of progress, small progress at a time. Focus on that and be consciously aware of your thoughts every day. Success is no accident. Mastering your mindset is no accident. We have to do it on purpose. We have to do it on purpose. And you have one life, so act accordingly. So, anyways, guys, thanks for listening. Does anybody have any questions on any of that jazz? Hope you guys are enjoying my mastermind group if you're in it. Been getting a lot of really good positive feedback in private messages from people, which is really good. Because you know, when you do something for the first time, of course I was nervous. And I could have said, I'm so nervous. Are people going to like it? Am I going to do a good job? Am I going to change any lives? Am I going to impact anybody? I don't know. I've never done this before. This is kind of scary. I said, no, damn it. This is what's inside of you. That this is your jam. This is the shit you love. You're going to go in there. You're going to be awesome. And you're going to learn from it. And it ain't going to be perfect. Just like if you go back and you look at my first few videos, not first few, go back to my videos on my YouTube channel. Those are always funny to watch. You get better and you grow and you learn. But like I said, I want you guys to remember this one thing. I want you to, just as my parents told me, when you start something, you finish it. And if you get into something and you do something when the times are good and you decide it's not for you, you can go off and go towards your passion. You're not considered a quitter. But don't you dare get into something, love it, be excited about it, thrive in it, rock it out, have belief in yourself. And then when the times get tough and you start to struggle and you're not where you think you're supposed to be, say, maybe this isn't for me. I think I'm going to just quit. That is the definition of a quitter. Throwing in the towel when the times get tough. So, I see something in the chat. I'm rocking the mindset group. Thank you, Lacey. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks, Kim. I'm so excited that you're on. I never get to see you on these calls because you're always doing your thing and you're usually sleeping or something by now. So, oh, good. Thanks, Kelly. I'm glad you guys liked it. Because this is just the beginning for me, guys. And this is just the beginning for you guys. It's going to start with this small 5-day free mindset group. But that's what I want to do. I'm going beyond that. I want to go on stage. I want to be talking to people. I mean, I was this insecure. I mean, I wrote down a bunch of words here earlier today that described who I was before. And a lot of you, what's really cool about this business is that, honestly, like, I can look at all you guys, especially the ones who've been doing this for a long time, and it's so cool to see how much you've changed in such an awesome, positive way. It's just the way you view yourself, the way you carry yourself, the confidence that you have in yourself. It's so different. But before, guys, I was insecure. I was a small thinker. I was a people pleaser to the point where it prevented me from doing what was really best for me and in my best interest. I was a pushover. I got walked on all the time by my friends. All the time. I was afraid of not being liked. I didn't think I was smart. I didn't think I could figure things out. I thought personal development and self-growth was stupid. I was way more of a follower. I just wanted to blend in. I didn't want to do anything too crazy to stand out from the norm because I wanted to be liked. So I wouldn't do anything that would go against my morals and my ethics and what I valued to be important, but I would still kind of right there, just enough so you wouldn't notice me. I still kind of do that even in this business, where I don't really like to celebrate the personal successes that much because, again, I have trouble with the attention within that area. I just don't like that. I couldn't even walk up the aisle barely when I got married without having like half a bottle of champagne because I didn't like the fact that I was gonna be walking up this long aisle and everyone's gonna be staring at me. I don't like that. But I hid my emotions all the time. I never cried in front of people because I didn't want people to see me as flawed. What's wrong with you? That's so stupid. Why are you crying over that? That's dumb. And I was just afraid of being flawed. And all that has changed now because of working on this mindset and like really mastering the mindset. And I'm not a master of my mindset. Trust me, I struggle. But you got to start and you got to just be consciously aware of it. So does anybody have any questions about any of this stuff? Anything you want to share in your own life? Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. And we're going to do this together. So have a fantastic night and a great weekend. Bye, guys.